Hi guys, Jay Smith here, welcome to the AskGolfNut channel. And so let's say not everyone is blessed with the ability to swing 7 irons at 90 something odd miles an hour. So anyone who has a suppressed swing speed, whether it be a slow or even an average swing speed, there's certain things you can do, certain things you can concentrate on when it comes to your practice to make sure that you're getting the most out of your equipment and the most out of you. Now you've got a handicap for a reason, but most of that handicap on there is because you are deficient in certain areas. Now, when we're talking about swing speed, for example, swing speed is mighty important. If you have speed, you already have an advantage over everybody else, potentially. Of course, if you can't control that speed, it's a completely different topic. But effectively, if you have speed, you have a part of the puzzle already that no matter how good someone else gets, if they're swinging 20 mile an hour slower than you, they will never have that advantage. Driver. It is mighty important that one, you have the right piece of equipment, yes, but two, more importantly, whatever you have, make sure you've got it set to the right loft. The first shot I hit, and I was level angle attack, I was 92 or so miles an hour, and we're talking decent face to paths, etc., but less loft. Decent strike, wasn't great, but decent. And you can see the distance that it went. It was okay, but it was down the middle of the fairway, no problem. Anyone who hit that wouldn't have too much of a problem with it because they'd see it go down the fairway and that lot. But if you look at the backspin number on it, the backspin number is too low, effectively. Why? Because you haven't got enough loft. Effectively, we're not helping the golf ball launch. And so whilst you've got hardly any loft, whilst you've got hardly any spin, there's very, very much of a risk of that ball just falling out the sky. The second shot that I hit, and you can see the difference in the flight, you can see the difference in the distance. I'm about 30 yards in the air longer, just from dynamics. That's from basically just using more loft, basically whacking this girl as high as she'll go at 12 or so degrees, and then hitting up slightly, you'll deliver more loft, you have more spin, and that's a better baseline spin to have. 2100, even 2200 is much, much nicer than what the first one was because you haven't got enough spin in the first one to keep it in the air. The second one, much better baseline. It gives you a little bit of wiggle room, so if you do miss hit it even more than I did on that second drive, it was okay, but wasn't perfect. You still get away with it. You still have a certain amount of wiggle room buffer in your spin number to make sure that ball stays in the air. So that's an important thing you need to make sure you do. We're talking about a little bit of tuition, a little bit of you, and ensuring that you're doing what you need to do, but more so making sure, especially in the winter time coming up, that the fact that the fairways and everything gets softer, gets slower, carry is king. Just make sure you have that right. Next one is your approach play. Let's dump off these long irons, shall we? Now, I have a 4 iron here. As you can see within the shyness of it, it's hardly ever used. Why? Because I stop at 5. And why do I stop at 5 iron? Because even I swing a 7 iron fully warmed up about 91, 92 miles an hour. And so even at 5 iron, I stop. I like to see everything going into a green at 45 degrees. Now, okay, 45 degrees for quite a few people is unrealistic, and so you have to then change as best you can do to work with as whatever shot shape, whatever speed you have, whatever peak height you have, etc. But mainly always, the higher you can get that ball and the better you can get the descent angle, the more control you have, the better. Now, I swung this one at 75 or so miles an hour. It's a standard length 4 iron and it's got traditional lofted loft. This is not what we call in the modern day world of cranked. You can get 4 irons nowadays which are a darn sight more cranked than this thing. And so the shot I did was actually pretty good. I can't complain too much. It rolled straight through the back of the green, but it was pretty good nonetheless. That was basically optimum, the most I could ever get this thing going. In come the 7 wood. When you're looking at the difference between the flights are massively different. You're going to get more distance from this one anyway. Why? You got a slightly longer shaft, which means you're going to creep a bit more clubhead speed from this. You're going to get a little bit more height with this one. You can get a little bit more stop with this one. The difference between these two golf clubs, when it comes to distance, this one will hit it further, but it will also go in slightly higher and also stop slightly steeper at a further distance. If you want to get an exact copy of what the 4 iron will do, you could go to a 9 wood. and get the benefit from doing it. You can see it just goes, hits even higher, softer landing, win, win, win. If you miss-hit this 4-iron, remember, the long irons, they haven't got roll and bulge on the face, that curvature on the face that gives you ample forgiveness. If you want to try and get your approaches a bit closer to target, dump the long irons and stick hybrids, and more importantly, fairway woods. Nice high numbered fairway woods as well in the bag. Next on the list has to be these things. So these are wedges, and it's for the short game, which a lot of people completely ignore. Now, when you start taking swing speed down, what happens is your approach shots get longer naturally. Obviously your driver, we've done from the start, we can get some more distance from making sure we have simple things checked with the driver. When you're talking about approach play, we're going to go through hopefully getting rid of those 4 irons and 3 irons and stuff and putting in more functional golf clubs in there, but you're still going to miss target. And this is the problem when you talk about swing speed, it gets reduced. You miss target more often because you're further away to start with. It's an unfair advantage. When you're talking my sort of speed, I'm hitting the ball further with the driver and I have much less distance because I also swing faster. That much less distance also has much more loft in my hand. So golf is easier for me because of the distance that I hit it. You start taking distance away and these things become really, really important because you're naturally going to miss target the slower swinger you are. You can obviously maximize and be as efficient as you possibly can do, but you're still going to miss target. So these things are massively important. And you can be around the green at 40 yards, you can be around the green at 2 yards, 4 yards, or whatever it is away from the putting surface. But it's important that you get really good with these to try and give yourself the best opportunity to get up and down. Use different golf clubs. Don't just use one particular golf club. I would say the statistics say as well, if you're a very high handicap golfer, keep with one golf club and use that all the way around the green for every situation, whether it be a 58 or 56, doesn't matter. That's what the statistics say. But when it comes to every other golfer of the mid-range handicap and better, getting used to using as many different golf clubs around the green to hit different kind of shots, some high shots, some low shots and stuff like that towards target from different parts of the area of the green is the best way for you to try and get your scores down. Let's go have a look at the last thing on the list. Last on the list, it's this little thing, it's the putter. Now with this putter, we've worked on the driver to try and get you a little bit further down there. We've now talked about obviously the fairway woods and the hybrids and the long irons, dump them, to give you a better chance of getting closer to target. And then the work you're going to do with those wedges, it's now time for the putter. And I want you working 15 feet and in. Why 15 feet and in? Now, of course, if you're going to have a certain amount of time that you're going to have to practice putting, etc., yes, you're going to have shots where you're going to be 30 feet away and 40 feet away and 50 feet away on the occasion. But with the work you're doing with driver, getting further down the fairway with a little bit of you and a little bit of equipment, getting rid of certain other things and using shots into a green which are going to be more functional with fairway woods and hybrids, but the work with the wedges are going to get you closer to the hole. Now, this is the time of that to capitalize on all the work you're doing with the short game. And so if you can work on 15 feet and in, you've got more opportunity to get those scores down on the scorecard. We are talking about getting rid of 3 putts as well from 15 feet. The work you're going to do there, they are just wasted shots. But this part, the second part of this video, is very much so about trying to take the big numbers off your scorecard. When you're chipping, make sure you get it on the green. The worst thing you can ever do is chip twice, yeah? And so get used to doing some different things around the green, different surfaces, different ground conditions, different lies, different distances with different golf clubs. 15 feet and in, and get that working with the putter and make sure you can get those big numbers off your scorecard and maybe sneak in a birdie or 2, if not more pars. So hope you liked the video. If you did, thumbs up. Go on YouTube, like so do I. Down there is a subscribe button. It's free and it's great for the channel if you could subscribe, so thank you. And next to that is a bell icon. That's a notification bell, and if you click that one, that will notify you next time I upload another video. So I hope you're well, and we'll see you again soon.